is all over Ireland. Now he's returning to see whether business has improved since then. It's been almost 3 years since Feargal Quinn was in Athlone, where he worked with Rosie and Ian Bowles to modernise Burgess department store. Later in the show, he'll return to see how business has been since.
I'm looking forward to seeing Burgess again. I wonder how the shop is doing, because when I left them, they were full of vigour and energy and enthusiasm. I'm really interested to see how well they're doing in a tough retail market, because the retail market hasn't got any better and any easier.
On the banks of the Shannon, Athlone is a busy Midlands town, and right at its heart stands Burgess department store. It's a traditional family-owned store selling a wide range of products. But in Athlone, like in many other Irish towns, business is drifting away from the main streets into brand new modern shopping centres.
The recession or the change in business pattern happened a bit earlier for us when we got a new town shopping centre, which was November 2007. I think there's a lot of retailers that are under severe pressure at the moment. I know in Burgess we have pulled back everything. All expenses in the business have been looked at, and continually.
Burgess has been trading in its landmark building for over 170 years, and Rosie isn't about to let it go without a fight.
The company was started in 1839, so think pre-famine.
Rosie's father Ian ran the store for almost 50 years, and he was thrilled when Rosie moved from Dublin to take over at the helm.
Rosie came down in 1999. She wrote me a very nice letter, and she said if I had space in the shop, she'd like to work in the store, and I was thrilled to bits. I still have that letter, and I'm very proud of it.
He's let me do it, and he's been able to pass over the rain and trust me. I doubt if I'll be as good if my time ever comes to hand over.
But if turnover continues to drop, Rosie may never get that chance. With 42 staff depending on the door staying open, Rosie and Ian face an uphill struggle.
We know there's a reduction, but we are fighting hard to keep our position in the town here. I've always loved the store. I'm a retailer.
With the economy the way it is, definitely I think everyone's concerned.
Feargal Quinn is in Athlone to see if he can help Burgess to turn things around. But his initial impressions of the store are disappointing.
Looking at it from the outside, I'm not sure I'd be enticed in. I think it could do with a lick of paint, because it does look as though it hasn't been painted since 1839. Window dressing is an art, and you need a professional, and I don't get the impression that that's professional there. I think it's been done the same way as it's been done for many, many years, maybe even generations.
As Feargal explores the store, he's disappointed that none of the departments are signposted.
You know, I'm not sure what's down here, because it says exit to car park. But from what I can see, there's a smashing range of hardware and kitchenware and everything else.
The lack of directional signage and cluttered shop floor can be fixed, but Feargal is concerned whether a traditional department store can survive one of the toughest trading environments in almost 30 years.
Is there a future for department stores in a town the size of Athlone? I think there is a future, but we've got to tweak it to make sure that we get the best out of it. I've got a bit of work ahead of me now if I'm going to do that, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking for the next little while and come back to them with hopefully some suggestions, some ideas, and a way not just of giving me food for thought, but fuel for action as well.
Back at home, Feargal takes a look at the books. Rosie shaved thousands off the overheads last year, but turnover is down in almost every department, and Feargal feels that cutting costs alone won't be enough to see them through.
I don't think she can cut costs anymore. I think what she's got to do now is get new customers and extra sales. That's the solution. There's one particular thing that's stopping those sales coming in, and that's the outside. Burgess needs to be a modern department store. From the outside, it doesn't look 21st century.
Feargal is planning a relaunch in 3 months' time, but he's aware that it'll be tough to convince Rosie and Ian that substantial investment will be required.
If I was in their position, I'm not sure that I would jump too easily into that investment. But they have to find a way to Make sure the customers recognise, it's worthwhile coming here. They're different from those chain stores who are the same everywhere in the world.
Feargal returns to Athlone to discuss his concerns with Rosie. He starts with some advice on in-store branding.
When I walked in here, I didn't see the Burgess name anywhere. So let's make sure that no customer afterwards says, I can't remember which shop I saw that in.
Next, Feargal takes Rosie to task on the cluttered shop floor.
If somebody is coming to Athlone, to Burgess, and if they walk in and they see a huge amount of stock, does it suggest, gosh, the quality is not great because there's so much stock that hasn't sold?
But it's the shop's shoddy exterior and badly dated window display that Feargal's most concerned about. He fears it might be turning potential customers away.
Rosie, I am going to push you very hard on doing something about the outside of the shop. That includes the sign, the lick of paint, and certainly the window display.
Yeah.
The window doesn't do justice to what you have inside the shop.
Right.
So what you and I are going to do is maybe have a look at what could we do so that those customers who at the moment don't come into the shop,
Yeah.
but suddenly as they walk past Church Street, they say, damn it, I'm going in there.
With Feargal's relaunch date set for 3 months from now, the clock is ticking. However, Ian is not convinced that Feargal's ideas are right for Burgess.
I mean, he's an expert in the grocery business. Now, our business is altogether different. Not like putting up a pile of tins on a counter.
The competition that Burgess faces from the Athlone town centre is international, modern and very, very tough. Located just 500 yards from Burgess, it poses a real threat to the future of traditional Main Street stores.
Men's, women's and children's is catered for very well in this town. I'd love to think they wouldn't survive without Burgess, but, you know, the reality is there's lots of competition out there.
Feargal needs to prove to Rosie and Ian that changes are badly needed, so he's organised a customer feedback panel made up of Athlone residents, some of whom have shopped in Burgess before.
I suppose I've been coming in for years and I think it's very good.
And some who don't feel so at home.
Get out. You don't belong here. Really? Uncomfortable.
After they've explored the shop, Feargal gathers the panel to get their feedback, while Rosie and Ian watch on a screen in the next room.
Was anything that you saw in your visit that said, you know what, that's something I would change if I was running Burgess?
I feel when I'm driving past, there's traffic lights there, so you inevitably stop and you look in the window. And I don't think the window often reflects the kind of shop it is inside.
My wife, when we walk by, there are good brands, no good labels, the shirts are good quality. But my wife also hates the window. When she goes by, she says the location is perfect, but the window is horrible.
For me, like, inside is like kind of overcrowded inside.
And I think inside the shop, I just noticed today, the kitchen shop, there's no indication when you come in as to where the kitchen shop is. It's downstairs and the stairs isn't that easy to see.
One of the mistakes I made over the years was listening to our customers so intently that I didn't always listen to our non-customers, the people who said, I don't shop there because the hours don't suit me or the product doesn't suit me or you're too dear or something like that.
There's not many, like there's one place for younger people to shop in, like, but the rest, it's for not an older crowd, but like for parents, really.
Be careful what you say. I think as customer panels go, that was useful, and I hope that Rosie and Ian get something out of it.
Well, what do you think of that?
Ian, get something out of it.
Well, what do you think of that?
Well, I think there was a lot of sense talked and some that I didn't think was fair use, but...
It's interesting that they've picked up on the window display and the signage.
One month later, and with some serious changes needed in Burgess, Rosie is feeling the pressure.
It's very much hands-on, rolling up the sleeves, getting stuck in, and you can lose sight of where you're going.
But does Feargal think they're on track to make the big relaunch in just 6 weeks' time?
You know, the signage hasn't happened yet. I want customers who come in here to say, that's where the kitchen department is, that's where the luggage department is. Tables should be used for something unique, something special, something you want to sell to the customer. I think these tables are being used for storage.
And the store exterior shows few signs of the vast improvement Feargal was hoping for.
Well, they've clearly put an effort in, but I think I've got to inspire them to do far more than they've done if we're going to succeed.
I met someone, and now there's no going back.
Get your head in the game. The stakes are very high.
It's lover versus husband.
I know you've been seeing someone.
Betrayal, tonight at 10 on RTE2.
I know what you are.
Say it out loud.
Vampire.
Are you afraid?
No. This kind of stuff just doesn't exist.
Does in my world.
The Friday night movie, Twilight, Friday at 9:15 on RTE2.
Unapologetic, pure platinum. Defy brass undertones.